2020, the year that changed the world. Wow. You know, I had to do this piece on 2020. But before I get into it, I should tell you who I am. This is Nicole Waldron of Victory Speaks, and welcome to the podcast. You know, I've been thinking about 2020. I've been watching many people saying, I can't wait till this year is over. Can't wait till 2021. And I'm like, people, we don't even know what 2021 is going to bring. I know 2020 has been tough. It's been tough on me. It's been tough on everybody in so many ways. Yet it's been pretty good for some. But one thing I know for sure is 2020 changed the entire world, affected the entire world at the same time. And that just blows my mind. I don't know if it's blowing yours. And it doesn't just blow my mind in a negative way. It blows my mind in a way that makes me Selah, Selah, pause. Think, what are you saying? What's happening? It's a time that made the whole world go into what we call isolation, seclusion, quarantine, and in some ways, yes, it's been hard, but in many ways, it has shown us so much about ourselves, so much about the world, where we're prepared and when we're not prepared. So, the year 2020, the year that changed the world. How did it change you? You know, in terms of like the isolation and the quarantine, for me, I have learned how to spend time with myself and be with myself a lot. So even though I have friends and family, I was able to adjust. And it also showed me that, and I'm so glad I learned this lesson somewhere in life. I just don't even know at what point, that what I do in life is not who I am. If I'm going to lean in, if I was to ask you, who are you? You know, many people, we ask that question, they start answering by what they do. They start telling me who they are from a professional point of view, that I'm a doctor, I'm a this, I'm a that, and I'm like, no, who are you? What kind of person are you? And they don't even go to sometimes motherhood or fatherhood or sister or brother. They go into the profession. So one of the things of 2020 that I am asking you to do is really ask yourself, who are you? Who are you without your job? Who are you without this profession that you have been doing for 5 years, 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, 60 years? Who are you when you can't go to work? What is your character? What are your values? Are you making that conscious recognition that you are not your profession? You are the person that you are. And are you training your children or your grandchildren or your nieces and nephews or those you have influences over, that they are not their profession? So 2020, that's one of the big lessons I think that we all have to sit back and take a look at and examine. Who are we? And then, as we look at changing the world, some of you who are watching this on videocast, you just saw me toss, and those of you who are on audio, you have no clue what just happened. A bee just flew at me because I'm outside on the balcony. But we're going to stay focused. He's doing his thing, or she, I don't know which one it is. They're around the flowers, and they're doing their bee stuff. I can't hate on it. I won't kill it because it's doing what it needs to do to replenish the earth. And again, one of the things that changed the world with 2020 was nature. We saw places around the world, smog being moved. And it showed us how much of an environmental crisis we are in. We saw and we heard of animals coming back out and things that didn't have much life replenishing again. You know, in the beginning was the Word. And that Word brought forth life into the earth. Now that's my belief. Some of you believe something else, but when that word came forth and he said, "Let there be life," and there was life, and there was the division of the heavens and the earth and the firmament, and the earth was void and without form, and there was darkness and there was light, and then the light came in and darkness appeared. Darkness disappeared when the light came in. And COVID brought people inside their cocoons. And some people stayed in the dark, and some people found their light. Some people started to reinvent themselves. Some people started to see the silver lining in it. And some people are stuck. And I encourage you to try and find the silver lining within it for yourself. You know, did you learn something new? Did you think about the times where, you know, not everybody has family at home? I get it. Not everybody has family at home. Not everybody has loved ones. Some people are really alone. But in that time, outside of work, where you're probably the only way you connected with others was by going out and being at work. If you were to reflect, especially for those who are at home alone and saying they're bored and saying they're this and that, think about those people who actually live alone all their lives, whether because of their age. Think of our senior population who live alone. Think about people with serious illnesses who are alone and barely see anyone outside of their healthcare providers. 2020 can either take you down a really dark rabbit hole, or you can see the opportunities in the crisis. You can see the blessings in the storm. You can take the time and find the beauty in the ashes. You can find the oil of joy and shake off the mourning. 2020, the year that changed the world, brought families together in ways that they hadn't had to come to before. It actually showed some people in their marriages, can they sustain it? But depending on how you look again at it, where you thought your marriage was really strong, really, was it? What do you need to work on? Where you thought you were really strong, what do you need to work on? Some people wrote books. Some people started podcasts like myself. Some people started new projects, new jobs. Some people lost their jobs. I lost my job as an event planner. And it's a time for reflecting and rethinking. But I always had to remember that there is a silver lining. There is always a rainbow after the rain falls. There is always sun after the night ends. There's always that daytime. And where one part of the world may be experiencing night, the other part of the world is experiencing light. So 2020, the year that changed the world. We all have a choice. Can we let 2020 be the year that was a year of disaster or a year of opportunity? You know, many great people died this year, and people are reacting in so many different ways. I know I've lost loved ones, and I've seen many famous people, you know, transition. But famous people transition every year. I think the biggest tragedy is when we saw so many of our seniors transition. The most vulnerable, especially in their health. They're most vulnerable in communities transition because of either poor health care, and a virus that is unknown to many. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that things didn't go wrong and things aren't tragic in 2020. But I think one of the things is it showed us that we have to take better care of our seniors. We have to do better with our long-term care facilities. We have to, I'm sitting here in Canada, and there's recognition in things that people were fighting for a long time, for healthcare facilities weren't taken care of, and now it's being addressed. 2020 showed where people can be empathetic, where they didn't know there was empathy before. You know, entrepreneurs grew. I see young children doing such great things. People rose up. So I encourage you, as you want to, those who want to rush to 2021, I don't know if 2021 is going to be any better. I don't know if this COVID is going to be any better. I know even just traveling around the world, and I know where my parents are in Trinidad and they can't leave, and my loved one is in the US and he can't leave and I can't see him, and you know, it's tough. But I'm telling you, if we don't start looking for the good in this crisis, the opportunities in this crisis, and encourage one another and sharpen each other to see that 2020, and you know what they say 2020 vision? It's a year of vision. It's a year of revisioning. It's a year of reinventing, doing things differently. We cannot go back to the way things were. People say the new normal, but maybe this is the normal that we're in. You know, we're wearing face masks. Yeah, I don't like wearing face masks, but we've been wearing masks for a long time. We've been going out into the world daily with different types of masks. And you know what? I won't go too deep into the mask thing, but I did a podcast on the mask because, and maybe I might do part 2 to it, because we wear so many masks in our daily lives. And what is the mask you're hiding behind? What is this mask revealing as you take off your mask and you come home? And we're also learning in 2020, where people, once they get released, there's a sense of entitlement that has shown itself in 2020, where people are so wanting to be out of being cooped up, they don't care about anybody else's life. What has 2020 taught you about yourself? Are you one of those people who has gained such a mindset that, you know, you just don't care how it affects another? So it really makes you stop, Selah, think, self-examine. But 2020, the year that changed the world, 2020 is a year of vision. What are you envisioning? What are you seeing? What are you doing? And how are you changing? Are you going to let 2020 change your life for the worse or for the better? The choice is really up to you. Whether the income is there or the income isn't there, whether the job is there or the job is not there, the first person that will always be there is you. This is Nicole Waldron, Victory Speaks. We're on a journey to living a victorious lifestyle. I hope this podcast was encouraging to you, and hope to hear from you soon and see you soon. Let's walk this life together, living a life of victory. The year 2020, the year that changed the world.